So that shiny new game just came out, Sniper Elite Resistance, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game first and first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for about 3 hours, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. I'll first be looking at some menus, followed by the campaign, a couple of other modes, and then finishing on the campaign again. First though, there is a little cutscene and I'll summarize it. It's 1944, Allied forces are preparing to remove Nazis from France. France intercepted a message about Nazis having a powerful weapon, so they want to disrupt Nazi supply lines. The person narrating the scene says he's going covert behind enemy lines, and then after that you're in the menu. I don't know who's narrating the opening scene, but he's got a pretty good voice, and he talks throughout the game as he's the main character. So voice acting is pretty good in this game. On the top right of the menu, if you click your name, you can create a lobby and invite others with your code, or vice versa. Crossplay seems to be supported with all platforms. The service record tab is where you can see your level, collectibles, ribbons, and medals. That's all achievements basically from playing the game, besides collectibles. Those are random things that you can find in the game. Like in level 1 of the campaign, I found a workbench, and that was the collectible for that level. You can change your emblem and title here too, but most are locked by default, so you'll need to play the game to unlock more. And finally, you can also prestige in this tab. The character customization tab, once selected, will have 4 classes to customize, one for each game mode in the game: campaign, Axis invasion, survival, and multiplayer. You can change your weapons, weapon attachments, camos, characters, and perks. Almost all things are locked by default, so you need to play to really rank up and customize anything. While browsing this tab, I did notice that while all weapons and attachments seem to be the same for each class, different modes had different weapon camos and characters to choose from. Finally, the play tab. You have the campaign, of which there's 9 missions, plus a DLC mission, so there's 10, or you can play co-op with someone in the campaign. Then there's propaganda challenge, which can only be unlocked by finding certain posters in the campaign. It's not too hard to find though, they make a papery sound when you're near them. As far as I can tell, these are just extra challenges with time limits. I did play one and I earned a gold medal, that's cool. Axis invasion is where you invade someone else's campaign game and act as a sniper to try and kill them. I had this option disabled when I played the campaign, but it's there if you want it. Survival is waves of enemies attacking you, as well as defending an objective. I played only a little bit of this. I survived 3 rounds at one objective, and then I quit on the second objective as I just wanted to try out the game mode. Multiplayer has several modes. No cross is where both sides have to stay on their own side. You can't cross the middle of the map. Then there's free for all, team match, squad match, and custom games. I didn't play any multiplayer modes while recording. Now to the main part of this video, the campaign. I'll still show a bit of the propaganda challenge that I did in survival mode, but most of the footage will be from the first 3 campaign missions that I did, and I played them on the default difficulty, which was medium. One thing I noticed right away was the graphics. On 1440p, I had settings at maximum. The graphics looked mostly good, but not quite as good as I thought a new game would look. I was a little disappointed that the graphics weren't better, but maybe that's just me. They did look just fine. My objective in the first mission was to destroy some things, but the map was actually smaller than I expected, though I guess in hindsight that makes sense for an introductory mission. The second and third mission I did had bigger maps that didn't feel too linear like the first mission did. Even though they were bigger, I still wouldn't classify them as big. There's a lot of buildings that you can go inside of, but not all of them. You have a lot of items in this game, so let me list a few of them. Binoculars are useful for spotting enemies, and they'll stay marked too, so I use binoculars quite a bit. There's medkits, bandages, decoys, grenades, pressure mines, and some other items. On top of that, there's also different ammo types. You can change your ammo type mid-game too if you find something while playing. As for exploring, you'll find some mission items like keys to unlock doors, papers, collectibles, ammo, health, or maybe some other guns to use. The guns that you pick up in the game don't replace your weapons. Once a picked up weapon is out of ammo, you just drop it. There's a little bit of climbing in this game. Some certain areas you can climb on vines, windows, ledges, or pipes. I climbed a few times, but it wasn't much of a focus in the first 3 missions that I did. There's also a couple zip lines that you can use here and there. As for the weapons, you'll have a primary, secondary, and pistol. Primary is your sniper, of course, and secondary is an SMG. You can also melee if you're close enough. Once an enemy is dead, you can loot them for items like bandages or ammo. You can also pick up their body if you want. You can change to a third person or first person aim for each weapon, and I like that. I like having options. The main draw to this game is the sniping, as well as the kill cams that happen sometimes. Those kill cams can actually happen with all weapons, but they're way more common when sniping. There's actually a setting to increase or decrease the frequency of these kill cams if you wanted to. The sniping feels pretty solid. It's fun to be really far away and to snipe someone. On the third mission in particular, I was sniping from across the water, and it was relaxing to just sit back and snipe long distances. I was in a trance almost, just sniping non-stop for like 10 minutes without moving. You'll need to watch out for enemies though. Some will drive up in vehicles vehicles and get out, or if there's enemies nearby and you make a sound, like for example a loud gunshot, or you run by them, then they'll start to investigate the area and attack you if they find you. Luckily you can set traps, so you could go into a building, set a trap on the entrances, and then begin sniping, and if your traps go off then you can just turn around and deal with whoever's coming in. You could easily play this game just by running and gunning, as there's several automatic weapons that you could use, but that's not quite as fun though. Sniper is in the game's name for a reason. Every time I leveled up in this game, I got a skill point that I could use, and there's 3 categories for skill points: combat, equipment, and body. A couple things in combat is enemies will be tagged when they shoot you, or you can self-revive. The equipment skills mostly focuses on giving you more of it, more TNT, more mines, more decoys. Body focuses on giving you more health and upgrading your focus ability. Whenever you use focus, nearby enemies will be highlighted. I basically never used focus, I didn't really need it, but it's nice to have options. I spent the majority of my skill points in the combat tab whenever I leveled up. You do have a map that you can pull up and look at, and it'll show you where the objectives are. I use that every now and then, it's useful. I haven't played a Sniper Elite game since Xbox 360, so I have no idea how this one compares to recent ones. Just based on this game alone though, without comparing it to anything else, I think the game is just fine. It's fun, the sniping is addicting, and the kill cams are nice. The story feels a bit shallow, but that's not the main point of this game anyways, I think. Overall the game is good. It's nothing truly amazing, but it's a solid game. Though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.